This student is a genius. To ask the vice president this question, it means she's bold. And then I can see the pain that the lady was going through because...
My name is Abdulalim Jaria, an SC student from Techima Nkobo NMTC. The question I want to ask is, when are we getting Alawa? Since I started my school, since first year, I've not gotten Alawa until now. And I'm in my last semester now. And some of us are not being able to pay our school fees. Next week like this, we'll be writing our exams. Those who will not be able to pay their fees will be sacked. They wouldn't be allowed to write exams. So if the Alawa were given to us, they would have been able to pay their fees. So my question is, when are we getting Alawa?
Thank you.
Bawumia wanted to dodge what the student asked, but he can't dodge because it's politics. If he dodges the question, it's a loss of vote. You understand? So Bawumia have to lie. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, Bawumia is trending. So I was walking through Twitter and then Bawumia is trending. People are talking. So I thought Bawumia just win an award from the international market. But it is what it is. There is no smoke without fire. Right now, a student nurse asked Bawumia a simple question. Bawumia couldn't answer. And then that was where I got to realize that the things that are happening in the system is of different angles. Because right now, Bawumia is saying that he's coming to pay chief's allowance. And the student nurse asked Bawumia, because Bawumia came to brag. I don't know if it's bragging or it is statement or it is politics. Bawumia said John Dramani Mahama is a failure because he do not have vision. You shouldn't follow people without vision because John Dramani Mahama cancelled students' allowance and we came and restored student nurses' allowance. We restored teachers' allowance and then we are paying students' allowance. So Bawumia was now bragging and then he said, I was like, as a president, as you finish, just walk, go and sit down. But if you tell them to ask you questions so that you answer, he was like, ask the president any question that you want to ask and then he will answer you. So right now, the student nurse, and shout out to that student because this is a bold step. It's not easy to ask a president this type of question. I was like, Bawumia, you were supposed to answer the question, but you escaped narrowly because the student asks,
can you trust my opponent with nursing training allowances? You cannot.
My name is Abdulalim Jaria, an SC student from Techima Nkobo NMTC. The question I want to ask is, when are we getting Alawa? Since I started my school, since first year, I've not gotten Alawa until now. And I'm in my last semester now. And some of us are not being able to pay our school fees. Next week like this, we'll be writing our exams. Those who will not be able to pay their fees will be sacked. They wouldn't be allowed to write exams. So if the Alawa were given to us, they would have been able to pay their fees. So my question is, when are we getting Alawa?
Thank you. Question I know what Thank you very much. Your Excellency, these are the questions from the youth of Bono East region. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those questions. I think the first question had to do with when we are getting Alawa for our listings. So I think that is a question I will take to the Ministry of Finance. I wasn't sure of where you were with your Alawa, but I think that I will check with the Ministry of Finance immediately I return, and I will make sure that they pay you your Alawa if it has not been paid. I will push it for you.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, you said you brought students allowance, you are paying students allowance. But right now, I came as a student. Since my first year till now, I am left with one semester to finish my education. As a student nurse, I have never received any single payment as allowance. So, when should I expect my allowance? When is the government going to pay us our allowance? Because now this is where the problems come from. Because I was like, this student is a genius. To ask the vice president this question, it means she's bold. And then I can see the pain that the lady was going through, because it's funny if you come to brag that you have brought allowance, you have restored allowance, you are paying students nurses allowance, and then there is nothing like that. What do you expect them to? And the student asked a brilliant question: when should I expect the allowance? So right now, Bawumia came out to answer. Bawumia stood up to answer. Bawumia said, I will inject the Ministry of Finance so that I will know where the processing have reached to, so that they will be able to pay you your allowance, so that you receive your allowance this year, you can pay your school fees. I was like, Bawumia, Bawumia. Now, this is not the answer to the question. You are the president. You should know whether the Ministry of Finance is paying or not. You understand? But you are saying is the Ministry of Finance the regulator? No. Before the Ministry of Finance will issue a payment to students, the president have to sign. The president have to let that to happen. But Bawumia, you the president, have you signed for the allowance to be paid? And you are saying you go to ask the Ministry of Finance from here, you go and make inquiries from the Ministry of Finance as whether how far is the payment, is the students expected to receive the payment within this month or not, bro. Like, nah, this type of politics is insane. Sometimes when you do these things, the people will feel like you are deceiving them. You came out to talk about to pay chiefs allowance if you have not finished paying students nurses allowance. What are you talking about? You see, these are the things that should not be happening in our country, but it's happening. Bawumia, go straight to the point, answer the question. I'll pay the allowance or not. You are going to find out from the Ministry of Finance for what? You are the president. Nah, come on. You see, this was an escape because Bawumia wanted to dodge what the student asked, but he can't dodge because it's politics. If he dodges the question, it's a loss of vote. You understand? So Bawumia have to lie. Bawumia said, if I go back, I'll ask the Ministry of Finance where the processing have reached to, how the payment is going to be done, when is the student expected to receive their money. You should know. Is there payment? Yes. There is no payment. Final. But these are just a way of throwing dust into people's eyes. We are there. We are still watching out to see whether it will happen or not, because we are tired of politics. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was saying that don't vote for John Dramani Mahama because he will come and destroy the legacy. And then I was like, what legacy are we talking about in this country? Because one district, one factory, you know, do one. One district, one dam is not there. Maybe it's like in my community they built one, because when you are passing through the road, you will see a lot of dams. The road is just full of dams. Because right now, no dam, no factory, no job, no employment. What legacy are we talking about? Ghana, we are turning the country into a political system rather than leadership system, because a leader should be able to come and execute his or her plans. But when you come to, to give us promises, it don't help us. Anyway, we are in a system. The country is for us all. We wish things goes well. If the allowance comes, the students will receive. If it was, just by way of escaping, that's fine. But it should not be happening, because we need to get into a system where people will get respect for the president, because it seems the lies have been consistent. Because I think, if there were any payment, this student will not suit up to ask you this question. You understand? If that happens, it becomes a disgrace. Either you'll be able to do yes or no. The student asked the question, you couldn't answer. Right now, what are we expected to look out for? Whether is it coming or it's not coming. But anyway, we bring it out there. So this episode is brought to you by Joy Ideas. My name is Richie Randy. So you have to subscribe. If there's any update, any filler out there next, we'll bring it out to you, and you also feel the vibe. Yes, Ghana will always be Ghana. See you next time.